Welcome back to the channel, part 2 of Dave Mustaine's revenge tour against Metallica. In part 1, Dave Mustaine got his ass smoked. Ride the Lightning stomped all over Killing Is My Business, and I think rightfully so. The songs on Ride the Lightning are just a lot stronger. I think Killing Is My Business kind of suffers from poor production. They were with Combat Records. They didn't have a whole lot of money going into the album or support from the record label. It was a smaller label. And I think it suffered from that. But moving on to 1986, thrash was making a buzz. Metallica put out this album, Master of Puppets, in which they got the opening slot for the Ozzy Osbourne Ultimate Sin Tour. So they were really starting to get noticed by the mainstream. This was the last album to feature the original Metallica recording lineup. Obviously, we all know Cliff Burton passed away in the tour bus accident during this tour. Megadeth got signed by a major label and they put out this killer album. The production is great on this one. This is the last album to feature their original lineup. Sorry about that light. With Gar Samuelson and Chris Poland. They were both junkies and Dave booted them after the tour or after this album because they were stealing band equipment and pawning it off for heroin. You know, you shouldn't be doing shit like that. Chris Poland did come back and played lead guitar on the System Has Failed album in the 2000s. Pretty cool album. I know Dave regrets that he never made peace with Gar before he passed away in 1999. But yeah, just like last time, I kind of loosely ranked all the songs on these albums. And I'm going to put the my least favorite songs against each other all the way up to the top. Whoever gets the most votes wins. That'll be the better album. This was really hard. I love both albums. I love them both. But we'll start off here at the bottom. What did I do? I put Megadeth's Superstitious, the Howlin' Wolf cover. I Ain't Superstitious against Orion, the instrumental. It's a Howlin' Wolf cover. That's who I know did it. I know Willie Dixon wrote it. I'm not sure if he ever recorded it in the early days. Howlin' Wolf actually recorded quite a few songs that were written by Willie Dixon. Orion, instrumental, as everybody knows. I'm not a huge instrumental fan, but I like Orion, and it's way better than Superstitious. Superstitious isn't a really good cover. You know, it's really the only black mark on this album, I think. So yeah, that's one for Metallica. I'm not a huge instrumental fan, but every time I hear Orion, I think about that Cliff 'Em All video, the VHS they did after he died, with all the live clips. And at the end, during the credits, they show Cliff's grave, along with the bass solo part of Orion, and it gets me every time. Yeah, so that's already 1-0 for Metallica. Next up, Devil's Island versus The Thing That Should Not Be. Both killer songs. You know, before I listened to them, I actually probably would have picked The Thing That Should Not Be, but I'm going with Devil's Island on this one. That's one for Metallica and one for Megadeth. Next up, Bad Omen versus Battery. Battery. Love Bad Omen. Awesome song, great song. Battery is just much better. I don't know about much better. It's just awesome. Next up, I'm going to go with My Last Words versus Leper Messiah. Now, I really do my homework for these videos, and I hope you guys appreciate it. But I was at the gym, and I listened to Last Words. I'm like, oh, this is going to win. And then I listened to Leper Messiah. I was like, oh, shit, no, this one wins. Then I was driving home from the gym, and I put on My Last Words again. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is definitely better. And then I still had a couple more minutes, so I put on Leper Messiah. And I was like, fuck, man. Why do I have to pick? They're both great songs. And you know what? I'm not going to pick. This is my video, my channel. I'm going to make up the rules, and it's a tie. So right now it's 2 for Metallica, 1 for Megadeth, and a tie. After that, we're going to go Peace Sells, but Who's Buying against Disposable Heroes. I wanted to pick Disposable Heroes. I really did. But I picked Peace Sells. And it was so close. I just think Peace Sells is the bigger song. I don't know if you guys remember MTV News, where they used a little bass intro of the song as the intro to MTV News. the lyrics, the chugging. I had to pick Peace Sells, and it hurt. Next up, we got Good Morning Black Friday. What the fuck is this? Against Damage Incorporated. Tie! Can't do it. Both fucking phenomenal. Just, it's stupid. The margin between these songs is just so small, if there is one in this album. So yeah, another tie. Next up, Wake Up Dead. One of those killer frickin' Megadeth riffs that are simple but have your head banging. You know, I woke up with my neck so sore after Megadeth shows back in the day, and Wake Up Dead was one of the reasons. Against Sanitarium. Now, I'm going to have to say, it's another tie. Both songs are phenomenal. Which album do I listen to more these days? Probably Megadeth. Which band do I listen to more these days? Probably Megadeth. Although I do have that Maximum Metallica on Sirius XM, and they play a lot of good shit. And they play a lot of garbage too. Alright, so I'm going to put a little counter up on the screen, but the last song we're going to do, The Conjuring, with another one of those killer riffs against Master of Puppets. This one absolutely crushes me. It sucks. It makes me question my whole existence. But I'm going to pick Master of Puppets. It's arguably my favorite Metallica song, that and Blackened. I know it's played out, but it really didn't start to get played out to me till just the last few years. But it's still amazing. The Conjuring's amazing. To be honest, I think this is the last time I'm going to pit these albums, Metallica and Megadeth albums, against each other. But who won? I don't even know. We got 1, 2, 3 for freaking Metallica and 2 for Megadeth. The rest were ties. You know, I just think the fact that Master of Puppets, you know, is probably one of the greatest metal songs of all time. And then having that Howlin' Wolf cover on there, I Ain't Superstitious, kind of hurt this album. But still, both phenomenal albums. Even though I'm going to give the win to Metallica, I think Dave was successful in his revenge tour that kept going. After that, we got So Far, So Good, So What, which is my favorite Megadeth album, against Injustice for All. I mean, I can't do that. Who can do that? After that, what do we got? We got Rust in Peace against the Black Album. I'd probably have to go Rust in Peace, most likely. I think the Black Album gets a bad rap, kind of like revisionist history. I know it's not as good as the early albums, the first 4 Metallica albums, but when it came out, no one was really crying. You know, Sad But True was awesome. Enter Sandman was awesome. You know, the album is just overplayed. Plus, it was just like the precursor to what happened after that. So everybody blames the Black Album. But like Through the Never, that was a good song. Yeah, but then if you want to go through the 90s, I would give that decade to Megadeth. I think in the 80s, when you throw in Kill 'Em All, I think Metallica ruled the 80s, and you'd have to give that to them over Megadeth. But then in the 90s, you know, after the Black Album, Metallica put out Load and Reload. For the most part, in my opinion, was garbage, S&M, all that stuff. And Megadeth was putting out Cryptic Writings. And some people say Megadeth never lost it. They never strayed away, but they did. They put out Risk. And even Euthanasia and Cryptic Writings, they were good, but they were commercial and popular, but they were still good and much better than Load and Reload and Sate Frickin' Anger. I don't even hate Risk, you know. And then after Risk, Megadeth came back with The World Needs a Hero, which I liked, and System Has Failed, and Washington Is Next. I liked all those. 13 was okay. They kind of lost me around Endgame. I don't know what came up first, Endgame or 13. Endgame might have. After that, it was always like I'd get excited and they had a couple good songs, and then I would get the album and I wouldn't like it. What was that? Oh man, I can't remember. But yeah, I would say after that, Megadeth kind of ruled the 90s and the early 2000s. Now, Metallica has gotten better again. Another thing I want to say about Metallica, it always irked me, was like when they put out Load, they were like, oh, people don't like us because we cut our hair. No, you didn't just cut your hair. First of all, you cut your hair, you started wearing makeup like the Chili Peppers. They put sperm on their album cover. They didn't just cut their hair. They just went fucking way out to left field. And then the music took a 180. You know what I mean? The music was nothing like the music that I fell in love with and most people fell in love with. No, I know a lot of people still love or like the Load and Reload era and all that. Metallica's still huge, still sells out stadiums, but yeah, it was more than just cutting their hair. But I think they did come back somewhat. I remember when Death Magnetic came out. That was a decent album. I liked it. I think I get excited about albums and wanted it to like it more than I did. But That Was Just Your Life was a good song, the best song on the album. All Nightmare Long was okay. After that, I think it was Hardwired, which was a good album. That one might actually be vinyl worthy. I try not to buy a million vinyl albums because ones I'm not going to listen to that much because I see what happens. People get old and vinyls are heavy and they get stinky, and what are you going to do with them? You leave your family to try to sell them? You know, they're not gonna. So yeah, Hardwired is a pretty decent album. I like it. Not perfect, but it was a lot of songs, you know, like all albums these days are too long. But it had a good 9 really good tracks on it, and I could see myself buying that on vinyl. And then I actually did buy 72 Seasons. Again, got super excited. I love the title track. I think that's just as good as any one of their classic songs. Shadows Follow was good, but I really haven't listened to that in a while. Like a lot of the songs, I like parts of the songs, but you know what I mean? They're old. What are you going to do? But that's it. I'm not going to do any of these more Metallica versus Megadeth albums. They're both great bands. Like I said, Metallica ruled the 80s. I think, you know, Megadeth for the most part stayed the course, and I give them the 90s and the 2000s. Megadeth's last album, same thing, got excited. A couple good songs, listened to it, it's kind of boring. But the guys are all pushing 70 years old. But yeah, that's it. Got a couple other videos in mind. Please leave a note in the comments. I appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe. If you guys got any ideas for any other videos, let me know. I'm probably not going to do many of those song ranking albums either. I know I did the one with the Rolling Stones, and it was hard because I'm like ranking the songs, but I don't really like half the songs any more than the other songs, you know? So anyway, it's very tough. It's very stressful for me. I have enough stress in my life. I don't need that shit. But until the next video, thanks for watching.
MTV News. You hear it first.